This next guest will either completely dominate his opponent or get knocked out in less than a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion. Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because...
Welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tinley. Today's guest is a big friend of the show. We've had him ever since he started his professional MMA career. He's now 3-2 in just over a year of competing in the professional mixed martial arts in Australia. He is one of the most sort of intellectual fighters. He really breaks it down. He's really well spoken, especially in not just his victories, his defeats, his opponents, sort of the mental side of it. He's a real interesting character in Australian MMA. His name is Alfred Stoddart. Now, he's a man that I believe used to work in IT. He's now full-time fighting. And as we mentioned at the start, he either puts on a sort of dominant masterclass like he did against Damian Volar at Eternal in Sydney, or you know, he gets caught in under 2 minutes by Nick Kepu and Darcy Vendy. Look, he's a very interesting fighter. He's got all the tools to sort of be a champion, but will he? Standing in front of him is a former Eternal middleweight champion, two-time Eternal middleweight champion, I believe, John Martin Fraser. They'll be competing against each other September 14th, Southport Sharks in Gold Coast. And the winner of that will surely be one half of the next title shot in the middleweight division. So without further ado, if you do want tickets, hit up eternalmma.com. I think you use Stoddart in the fighter coupon or something, and he gets money. Either way, Eternal MMA, check it out. Or you can see it on UFC at Fight Pass September 14th. So, ladies and gentlemen, after we hear from our friends at PRP Global, it's Alfred Stoddart.
Fuel the fight with Australian-made MMA-inspired streetwear and support the next generation of MMA superstars. Delivering unprecedented support to the Aussie MMA scene, support PRP Global on their journey. 100% of profits go to the fighters. Check PRP Global out today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Taking on John Martin Fraser September 14th in the main event of Eternal MMA 88. It's Alfred Stoddart, mate. Welcome.
Oh, hello. Fucking testing the feet over here.
Yeah,
Every
mate.
time we talk, I get knocked the fuck out. So this is
Yeah, it's not. It's normally not a great thing when you come on the show. You normally talk big things, and then you get starched, which is unfortunate. But we're gonna break the cycle.
Yeah, of course. And either way, like two of my most devastating losses have then followed two of the most absolute horrible beatdowns I've put down on a human being. So I win either way. So
yeah. Are you the most 500 fighter there ever was? You either get knocked out or you knock guys out?
I think it's just the thing where it's like people really do forget I've only been a pro for a year. And it's not like the middleweight division is so fucking stupid. Because it's like when I did the thought process in my head of like who my actual opponents were, just my first two. It's like, okay, as an 0-0 fighter, I fought Darcy Vendy. That's like being an 0-0 fighter and fighting Alex Pereira first. And then my second fight was as an 0-1 fighter, just got knocked out. I'm fighting a guy who's 2-1 as a pro, who's just been smashing people. It's like, that's just the middleweight division. I could be a 10-0 fighter if I fought in America. Yeah. Like, I've seen some of the 10-0 fighters in America. Not like they're fighting in cans, but like the level of like a 1-year pro there. I think I could do what I've done to like Sam or like Damian Valor to every single 1-year pro in America, unless they're like a former Olympian.
Yeah.
For the most part. But here it's like, well, now your fifth fight and you're still in your first year is John Martin Fraser. It's like, it's a bit much.
It's like, you know, where to from here? If you take out John Martin Fraser, I mean, I'm hearing, I don't know if he's changed his mind, but I'm pretty sure Ben Johnston is what I've been hearing is kind of, if it's not the UFC, then he might be done. So this could very well be kind of the top two guys, you know. I mean, I know you've got obviously Blair Bretag and Kepu and that around, but like this could very well be like a title fight. So it kind of feels weird, doesn't it, to kind of skyrocket to the top. You're already fighting John Martin Fraser, who's an absolute sort of legend of Australian MMA, and you're doing that all in your first year.
Yeah, it's insane. I didn't like. I would pull an Israel Adesanya. I manifested this. I didn't manifest it this fucking quickly.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, last year when we talked after the amateur fight, when I was like, oh, it'd be great to fight John Mark Fraser, and then I didn't expect it to be happening within the first year, but at the same time, I've said a bunch records of DJs, and I don't want to be a flash in the can type of fighter, going on like a 4-fight. Because realistically, if I like massaged my fighting a bit better, I would be 3-0, right? If I just fought Sam first and then and didn't take the Darcy fight, and realistically, I had legitimate reasons to pull out of 2 of my losses. Like, I trained for Darcy for 2 weeks. My ankles were all kinds of fucked up, and I could have pulled out there. And then I could have pulled out when he missed weight by a kilo. Like, those are all legitimate reasons to just be like, okay, this isn't happening. And I did it. And then for Nick, I literally broke my nose to shit 3 weeks before the fight. Anyone else in my position pulls out, especially in my position for the Nick fight, where it's like you're getting a lot of hype on you, blah, 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 blah. But I don't, and I take the fight anyway. So if I massaged my career enough, I'd be 3-0. But then I wouldn't have learned the things I needed to learn from those 2 fights, which they didn't last that long. But I learned enough that you saw it by my next fight that, holy shit, this guy's... The Nick fight, for instance, you're like, oh, fuck, he's learned how to finally defend the left hook once you see me fight Damian Ballard. It's like, oh, he's blocked that hole, and I can take a shot and a bunch of other stuff. It's like, that's all I want. It's what I want to learn. I want to be like Oliveira, Dariush, Poirier, those guys. I don't want to be the guy who just comes in, fucking knocks out everyone, beats as many people as he can in the shortest amount of time, wins the belt once or some shit, and then just starts getting wrecked, and it goes full downhill because at no point did he ever close his holes or anything, because it was just like, you lucked out. You fought this guy at the right time, then you fought that guy at the right time, and then you fought that guy at the right time, and then you knocked out this guy, game over, never defend anything, call yourself the greatest. And it's like, yeah, you can do that, but eventually at some point, unless you're John Jones, you're going to catch an L. Like, he probably catches them outside the cage, but unless you like really massage your career, Beeb style, you're most likely at some point going to catch an L. And if you can, the guys who come back from that and come back even stronger, those are the ones who I like admire the most in all of MMA. Because like Dustin Poirier, from when he got starched by Conor to now, is a completely different monster. Oliveira right now, people are like, oh my God, Charles Oliveira is one of the greatest ever. But I'm like, I remember watching Oliveira when he fought Cowboy. No, it wasn't Cowboy. He fought Max or something like that. He was on a losing streak, and it wasn't like a pretty losing streak. It was like brutal, eat 2 or 3 shots, hit the floor, and everyone's like counting down. Oh, this is just another bum. Kind of, you'll always be 500. But you can see the improvements every single fight, because in his mind, it's like, yeah, I took an L, but I'm improving every single fight with the experience. Gegard Mousasi is a great example of that. He's like one of the pinnacles. I was like, I want to be so complete and so ready that I know that I've done the experience, I've done the fighting segment. Win streaks are about luck for the most part. It's like, pick the right guy at the right time. Like, I might beat John here, but it might be because like John's on the decline of his career, and maybe I wouldn't have beat him in my first year 2 years ago, for instance, when he was the champ. It's like, it's all timing. Streaks of 90% timing, because there's a lot of guys on like some really big win streaks with some really nice records where you like look at the people they beat and you're like, wow, that's really impressive. And I'm like, yeah, but when did you beat them? Like, was it when they were killers, or was it when they're like slightly on the decline? And now you have this like really impressive super win streak, but it's really, then they hit the UFC and then they get knocked out first round and get just out wrestled or beaten up, and it's like, what happened here? This guy was super undefeated. It's like, yeah, but who's he fought and when did he fight them?
So do you think John Martin Fraser's on the decline of his career?
Oh, that's a nice swear. First you try getting me to call him out, which is wild, you little instigator.
You said it.
You said, "Hey, call out John Martin Fraser." I'm on you.
I can't make you say things. I can just grab them
Oh
and
no, I said it.
magnify them.
Oh no. Basically, all I did is discredit my win, which was really fucking stupid. If I beat him, I basically implied that he was on the decline. If I beat him, if he wins, then he's not on the decline. But no, I don't think he's on the decline per se.
Oh,
You can never tell someone's on the decline until they've lost 3 in a row. That's my mindset. It's like you 1 fight draw, 2 fights, whatever, 3 in a row, and then the 4th one there's no improvement. It's like, okay, you kind of need to stop looking at. I mean, you can always pull a Tony Ferguson, just go like fucking 7 in a row and still be like, I still got it. But we all knew after his 4th loss, like he's done. Like we didn't need to see the other 3. Honestly, like the first loss, you're like, okay. Second loss, you're like, okay. Third loss, you're like, this is becoming a bit much. 4th loss, we're like, please, Tony, just win 1 and retire. By the time it's hit 7th, we're like, who the fuck's employing this person? So yeah, it's like for me, it's like 3 fights, and then we can say someone's on a decline. But I don't know. I don't know, John. We'll see when the fight happens. He might be on a decline, or I might be finally at that point where I've arrived. And it might just be too overwhelming. Yeah. And I believe that. Well, when I arrive, it doesn't matter if everyone's in their fucking prime and they're the greatest fighter ever. I will fuck them up. That's a Portuguese. When I arrive. I might have arrived now. I might not. I don't fucking know. We'll figure it out. It's all about experience and getting it through.
I mean, that's kind of what I mean. Then does John Martin Fraser have to be on a decline for you to beat him?
Fuck no. If I feel if I'm as good as I'm feeling right now, especially because I'm like, right now I'm kind of a full-time fighter. I left work maybe 6 weeks ago, so I've been just training, sleeping, as opposed to like fighting with a full-time job. I made it work, but it really did feel like I'd come into every fight with one arm tied behind my back, and I'd just have to figure it out between injuries and then just not recovering, barely getting any sleep. But now it's like I feel really fucking good. I feel really fucking strong. Executing at an extremely high level, and for once, I'm not fucking injured going into a fight. like going into a big fight. Like the other fights, I wasn't injured, and I whenever I'm not injured, I fuck people up. Whenever I get a debilitating injury, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm a fighter. I'm gonna fight anyway. I'm not pulling out for pussies. Yeah, I usually get knocked the fuck out in 2 minutes and realize, oh, so that's why people pull out. There's a reason for this.
So how are you training full time now? Is it just annual leave? Did you quit your job? Are you living off savings? What's the go?
I quit my job, but yeah, I'm living off severance and everything. Basically, I'm pretty much paid for the next 4 months, even if I wasn't working. So it's like, I get to basically train the entirety of this time. And I'm using this training camp because I know I'll have a shortened one. I'm hoping, I think late October, there might be a card in Sydney or something like that I'm hoping to jump on. So I'm trying to stack the 2 of them together. So I'm using this training camp to get as ready as I can and then recover after 2 weeks for this next fight. Then jump into whatever is available in October or early November.
Ooh, so are you looking past John Martin Fraser, are you?
I'm looking past everyone. I told you, I'm going to get 40 fucking fights. Do you really think I'm going to get so hung up over the guy who's my 5th fight? When is it at number 39? There's no way in hell I'm going to be thinking about, man, that one time, 20 fights ago, I fought John Martin Fraser. No. I remember 2 years ago, I fought Christian Lapham. And when I fought him, it was in my head, it was the biggest thing I've ever done, ever. First interstate fight, first big show. Oh my God, it's amazing. And then I fought my next fight. And then I didn't think about it much. But then I fought my next fight. Then I really didn't think about it much. And now even saying the words I fought Christian Lapham a while ago means almost nothing. Because it's a thing that happened a while ago. The whole amateur scene, now that I've had 5 pro fights, the level of disdain and just dismissiveness I have on anything I've done in the amateurs in a year is it's wild. So as the fights go on, I want to just improve. I just want to do my absolute best to cover as many holes as I can possibly cover and improve at every single point. Is this fight a bit early? Do I feel like John is picking on me? maybe a little bit. We were all like 1 year pro me getting picked on. It's wild. It's not my fault. Duffy Bendy said no.
I mean, you fought Damian Volar, who was a debut in your last fight. You bully.
Right. Yeah. And Damian Volar was on a 8-fight win streak, all finishes on his debut, coming up from light heavyweight, and it was my first year as a pro. So even when I bully people, it's still not fair.
Well, I mean, do you feel
The
like
amount
it's
of comments I got from people saying you're gonna get fucked up. Like, who's your management? Who's picking these fights for you? Damian the fucking monster. I'm like, okay, great. Let's see.
it was amazing. It actually really was. I mean, if we talk about that fight for a second, like, why did you kind of feel so good? Because it really was such a masterclass.
One, I was fighting at home, so I knew where all the food was. Like whenever you fight interstate, you gotta you fly there, you gotta go running around for shit. You don't know where the food you really need is, and you're stressing about shit, and then you're sleeping in like a hotel room. Like, well, it's like imagine if someone grabbed you and stuck you in a hole, no light, no nothing, and then it's like you're fighting tomorrow. That's what, no matter how nice the hotel is, that's what it feels like when you're taken to like interstate to fight. It's like, oh fuck, okay, I'm here now. You just gotta don't think about the fight, don't think about the fight, and you're just thinking about the fight every second of every minute. But also just the fact that it's improvements from the Nick Keppel fight. Like left hook defense was a bit fucking super sauce, but also chasing it. If I hadn't taken that Nick Keppel fight, Damian Volar would have finished me most likely in the first round when he ended up on top. And that's because in that Keppel fight, I rushed when I shouldn't have. I was being strategic. I was landing my shots, and then I just landed one body kick. He winced, and I rushed him. I let the stardom and everything get to me. I was like, man, imagine a first round finish when all this hype is on me. That'll be everything. And I stepped in there. Wasn't even thinking he was going to punch me at all. I was thinking, I've hit him once, I've hit him twice, I'm going to hit him again. And then the shot hits me, and it didn't put me out. It just was just two things happened. One, after I broke my nose, I basically did no head contact for 3 weeks. So the hardest shot I got hit with for 3 weeks straight was Nick's left hook to the face. And my brain went, what the fuck was that? Because it hadn't been hit for 3 weeks. So I completely fucking forgot what the hell the impact was. And it you could see my legs I was conscious, but my legs were my brain was just trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And then I threw a shot with my eyes closed, and he hit me at the same time. And that was that's how you go down immediately.
Why'd you do that?
Your brain's like, I don't know. Because I'm a dumbass. I threw a cross, and it was I was already kind of stunned. And it was very much a throw and hope cross. And it's the same one that what's-his-face, Darcy, caught me with on the check hook cross. I threw the same cross where my hand dropped and the technique wasn't clean. And he caught me. I went down again. And it was dumb because in that moment I was like, I need to stand up. I saw the referee as I hit the floor and he was about to step in. And I was like, I need to stand up as quickly as possible because if I don't stand up, he's going to stop it. Even if I can block the punches to the face, I need to stand up. And that was dumb. I should have just grabbed his leg like I did after the third time he knocked my ass down. But I kept trying to make sure the referee wouldn't stop the fight. And that I didn't have my legs. So me standing up just meant I was Bambi with a fucking lion right in front of me. So every time he dropped me, I'd stand back up with no legs and just get dropped again. And then I finally shot for the single leg once he actually stepped in. And I grabbed him and I was like, oh, I'm actually fine here. I can move. And the referee's there fuck. I'm yelling to him, I got a single leg. Don't stop it now. But yeah, because of that, the Damian Volar fight, two things happened. I had to get used to taking shots, which is why I took that fight over Blair. Was Damian was finishing people. And if you make any mistake, if you rush him, you might beat the shit out of him. But eventually you're going to slip or make one mistake and he's going to end up on top of you. And he's going to finish it. Or he's going to catch you with a shot. It happened 8 times in a row. It's not luck. It's skill for him. You can do a bunch of stuff to him, but you make one mistake, he will finish you. And whether it's a submission or it's a knockout, he will. So I literally couldn't make the same mistake I made with Nick. My left hook defense had to be clean. My punches had to be clean. My distance had to be clean. My measuring of how much volume and impact I was doing to him without gassing myself out had to be sharp as all hell. And he was the most dangerous fight for that. Because there was no, I couldn't like, I'll just shoot and take down and maybe I can like stall this. It's like, he's really high level on his grappling. So my grappling has to be just as high level. My striking has to be just as high level, which is why I kind of didn't finish. Is every time I got close to finishing him, I'd feel my gas tank hit like that point where if I push this, maybe the ref will stop it. Or maybe he won't, and now I'm at the red, and now he's gonna get up, and I know he's a tough motherfucker. Like if you don't finish him and you gas out, you're done. You're gonna lose. Like it's guaranteed. Because he'll just like keep coming forward and putting his weight on you. And you'll turn your back or you'll do something and he'll choke you or punch you. And I can feel it every single round. I can pick the points where I'm like, oh, if I was a little tired right now, you'd have won this fight. Here, like there was several 8 times where I realized like he's gonna be a problem for like a lot of people. Because if you don't know to do that and you fuck up and think, oh, I've got it, and you just rush it, or you even if you land the big shots, once he gets on top of you or he gets a good position and you're slightly too tired to do the right thing, he will finish you and he'll finish you immediately. So, yeah. So learning from the Kepler fight, from that small 2 minutes, all the shit I shouldn't do and all the shit that did work, took it over so I could beat a Damian Valor in the fashion that I beat him. If I don't take that fight, I guarantee you Damian Valor finishes me most likely in the first round.
So that
I
was...
beat the shit out of him, but he finishes me in the end.
So you reckon Damian was a harder fight than taking Blair?
At that time, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Just on the fact that with Blair, if I did take it, there was that little factor of the fact that like he hasn't grappled much. Like he said it himself as the one. So there's a bit of an in I could have done with that. I could have just like spent the entire camp just wrestling and grappling for the most part. And when I say harder, it's the fact that like win percentages, there was a way lower chance that I could exploit a very big weakness on Damian than I could on Blair. Blair, lightning on the feet, really strong on the hands, grappling's a bit sus. But Damian, not lightning on the feet. His feet are okay, but he's a big, heavy guy who can throw some hard shots. That works. But most importantly, grappling wise, really fucking good. Like he has a almost comparable record jiu-jitsu wise as I do. I did mine in a year. He did his in 4, but that's just me bragging. But I like the fact that he's competed so much because I after I saw his record, I was like, okay, this guy isn't someone I can mess around on the ground with. Like there's no safety switch. That's why I say he was a tougher matchup. The fight could end everywhere with Damian. With Blair, the fight would most likely end at the feet.
Yeah.
Like he'd have to knock me out or finish me there. Like Blair Bretag is not fucking jumping on my back and submitting me unless I'm already kind of knocked out. I could take that back. We can do a jiu-jitsu comp, Blair, if you think otherwise. We can compete together in jiu-jitsu. I'll sub you 17 times from Sunday.
Ooh. I'm gonna clip this, and then when you guys fight, I'll be waiting.
If you want to talk gang shit, if you want to talk jiu-jitsu, the entirety of the top 10 in all of middleweight, you want to roll with me, let's go. I will sub you all.
Wow.
Jiu-jitsu? Oh, fuck no. That's my world, baby.
Even Benny Johnston?
Instantly. All of them. Every single one of them. Help. Recently, purple belt Ben Johnston, who I'm actually cool with, but in jiu-jitsu, I don't play. I talk a gang of shit. I've done enough competitions and beaten enough people who are high-level black belts right now competing at ADCC, and also trained with some of the most high-level jiu-jitsu guys in Australia to fucking like.
Are you technically a blue belt?
Always, forever. Nah, I'm technically, realistically, I'm most likely a brown belt.
No, what do you wear?
Oh, where? Sometimes I wear my blue belt rash guard. Sometimes I wear my purple rash guard. I'm a purple belt, but I there was a while there when, especially in the amateurs, where I was sandbagging like a motherfucker. Just because, like, if you're a purple belt, it's already hard enough to find fights in middleweight. It's worse when you're a purple belt with a winning record and who can strike. it's like I would have never found a fight like ever. So it's like, if you're an amateur, you're probably belt maximum. And then I'd show up with comps and guys who I versed when I was in my like early blue belt years are like, they're like purple belts or brown belts now. They're like, what the fuck are you still doing there? I'm like, bro, I just want to get my reps in. It's like, you're full of shit. Like,
that's great. Well, in terms of the Damian Volar versus Christian Lapham, who takes that fight?
it's a close one because it's like Christian kicks better than I can. No, I kick better than him, but he's just faster and also heavier. And Damian couldn't defend himself from a high kick to save his life. He just kind of ate him. So but also he just ate him. Like he just ate them. He didn't go down. It took me head kicking him clean, then punching him in the face with my other hand, then left hooking him in the chin for him to like stumble down and then get back up immediately. It's like, it's fucked up. If Christian can't finish him or can't keep him off of him, and Damian grabs a hold of him, Damian will finish him. Like, yeah, I don't. I'm saying this from the Joe Brown fight. Again, full Christian, just not a dig, but like, yeah, Damian will. If Damian grabs a hold of him, like some of the positions I saw Joe Brown grab a hold of Christian, he's gonna take him down. He's gonna submit him, and it's gonna be fast. Because that's the thing with Damian. It's like, if you are even slightly off in where you need to be putting things, he will grab your neck and he will submit you, or he'll grab he'll grab something, and he will sub you. So everything's got to be like, you have to roll a lot. Like, jiu-jitsu has to be your thing for you to realize where the holes are, where the holes are. The good part about it is he doesn't really punch you much. Like, on the ground there, I knew he wasn't going to punch me. So I like back elbowed, broke his nose, and like started posturing up. Because I'm like, all I got to do is defend the subs and work my way into getting up. Because he's not going to posture and just ground and pound the shit out of you. Unless you're already hurt, or he's in a very dominant position like Mount, for instance, or topside half guard or something like that. So that's the downplay with like jiu-jitsu guys, is you got to worry for subs, and if your arm's in the wrong place, he'll take it. But you don't really have to worry so much about getting punched in the face. So I think Damian will take it. I want to say Christian will take it, but it's like he really has to keep Damian off of it. That footwork has to be elite the entire time, and he's got to keep Damian off of it, because if Damian grabs a hold of him, he's just a weird built person. Like he shot a takedown, and I wanted to elbow him, like punch him in the liver, and his liver was so far away, and I was wondering what the fuck's going on, because he came out, he like weighs in at the weigh-ins, and he's so small, and I was like, oh, this guy's smaller than Sam Dobbins. This is great. And then I see him the next day, and he's fucking massive. I'm like, who the fuck are you, and how did you eat Damian Valor? Like, he got so big. And I was like, this is weird. And then I realized it's like he has a really long torso but short legs. That's why he doesn't head kick as much. So it's harder to stop him. You can't grab his like barrel body shit. And when he lays it on top of you, it's a problem. Like, you are more likely to make mistakes if you don't realize, like, you can't make a single grappling mistake. He will finish you, and he'll do it quickly. So, if Christian keeps it on the feet and keeps moving, he's gonna light him up, because Damian's striking is kind of rudimentary, but it works because the threat is that if you don't respect my striking, I'm going to take you down, and if you don't respect me taking you down, you're going to get taken down. So now all of a sudden, every time he level changes, you're setting your feet a bit more. You're not moving your feet as fluidly, and then he punches you in the face. And he's fought at light heavyweight and knocked out light heavyweight, so he has enough power to knock your ass the fuck out. But Christian's pretty good about defending the initial takedown and keeping his feet on him. But I think Damian probably takes that off of just the grapples. But, I could be proven 110% wrong.
Well, I mean, in the main fight, the one you will care about the most, you versus John Martin Fraser, how does it go September 14th? And where does a victory put kind of either one of you? Do you think Ben Johnston ends up dropping the belt? Do you think he ends up defending the belt? What do you think sort of happens, and where does it put either of you two with a win?
Ben wants to get to the UFC, and I as a starting to get older fighter, I mean, I'm only 30, but like, he's like older than that. I understand. Like I've like Ben's thing of like holding up the belt and saying I want to go to the UFC or retire. I'm like, I completely understand. Why waste the time? Like, you know, you want that one shot anyway. Why waste the time? And all you could possibly get from fighting a like, if I beat John and me, for instance, or Matt Myers, or rematching John, is the potential that you lose that fight, and then the UFC is just like, you're too old and lost, so we'll never sign you. It's like, it's fair enough. I think he's most likely going to drop it either way, and then whoever wins this fight gets the title shot for the probably the next Eternal, whether the next one, the one after it, is probably going to get the title shot there.
Who do you think that's against?
Matt Myers.
You reckon he comes straight back in? You reckon Matt comes straight back in?
Oh, 100%. October is when he recovers. October is when there might be an Eternal. This all kind of lines up pretty well.
In Sydney?
Potentially. I'm not entirely sure yet. Don't quote me on
that. I will.
Sure, go ahead.
Mate.
I make up bullshit. You can I like how they printed out that I was going to finish the fight with a Gogo Plata. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'll do it. I think I already grabbed. I grabbed a previous interview you did. I think it was like backstage at Eternal. I can't remember who you were talking shit about, and I was like, it might have been Blair, and I was like, yep, I'm gonna grab that.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
You can't speak. Don't speak around me. I'm always listening, guys. If whoever's out there, be careful. There's some people that just put stuff up, and I'm like, oh, you have no idea what you've done.
You're just like, fuck yes, finally.
Yeah, I'm like a slick BJJ black belt, but with like stirring up shit. So like, there's just like a little opening. I'm like, got it.
You're a black belt in your aerial Hawaiian-ness.
Mate, before I let you go, if people never watched you fight before, September 14th, kind of what can they expect against John Martin Fraser?
Either I beat the living hell out of him and it's fucking wild, or he knocks me out in 2 minutes. If you haven't watched me before and you're gonna like look at my previous performances. What I expect to happen, I mean, John says he's going to get it done in one. And if it goes to round 2, and even if I'm losing it in round 2, I'm going to be talking a gang of shit the entire time because I'm a petty motherfucker. Like, the last 3 people who said the fight was going to go some way, it didn't go that way. Like, Sam Dom said he'll slap me. I slapped him. And Damian said he'll finish me in the 2nd round. And I was like, 3rd round in, I was like, hey, buddy, what are we doing here? Should we be done by now? So I love it. If he goes 2nd round, I'm talking a gang of shit. But for the most part, I don't see how any of us don't get finished, considering it's gonna be so fucking late at night. We're gonna be half asleep anyway.
I love it, mate.
Someone's going to sleep.
It's always a pleasure. We'll have a chat post fight either way, just because I love doing it. Alfred Stoddart versus John Martin Fraser, September 14th, Southport Sharks. Eternal MMA.
See you,
Oh, it's going to be good, brother. Best of luck, and see you next time.